leading to the place where virtuous souls rest in peace for eternity, with no memory of earthly pain or suffering. In stark contrast, the river Styx was the river of hatred, often thought to be the route to everlasting torment. Finally, it led to the river of fire, Phlegethon, which is considered the place where the worst souls ended up, thus the analogies of hellfire and brimstone we know today. Bob and Janelle Harrison waited by the proverbial river of woe for over 25 years. Bonne Terre, Missouri is a small rural town whose primary industry related directly or indirectly to the prison. The road to the death house at Bonne Terre connects country lanes and rural back roads that flowed 290 miles from their eastern Kansas City home to the town whose French name translates to the Good Earth. For Ann Harrison's family and friends, the only good that came from the many trips down that road was that it brought into focus the prospects of actually moving forward with the executions, as the highway signs came into view. Those roads would be traveled without a conclusion for a quarter of a century before the Department of Corrections could carry out the death sentences. A great price had long since been paid to the ferryman by the Harrisons, and it was well beyond the time that two wretched beings took passage down the fabled river of fire. Chapter 1. So tell me about this Annie Harrison. She signed up to play for me this spring. The Raytown softball coach inquired about the high school sophomore, new to his team, as Danny Mang listened on the other end of the phone line. Danny was a fixture in the city of Raytown, and if Coach Mang said a player was right, you could bank on that recommendation. Anne had played for Danny, and he was the one who encouraged her to go with this coach's team on the sign-up night. Well, Annie isn't the team's best player, but you need her on your team. She's the glue that holds it together. Every team needs an Annie Harrison. She's the daughter that any dad would be proud to have. Trust me, you need her on your team. Anne Harrison, Annie to those she was close to, had just turned 15 years old 1 month before sign-up, and she was looking forward to a new season. Early March and teams were forming, but Annie, the team player, the friend, the universal daughter, would never play for the new coach. She would not play again. She had seen her last season. Michael Taylor and Roderick Nunley were old friends. Taylor had 9 prior felony convictions for burglary, stealing, and tampering, and had absconded from the custody of a halfway house in November 1988. Kansas City police had issued a warrant for his arrest on December 1, 1988. Taylor was well versed in prison and probation operations and escaped custody one more time before his story was over. He still had that outstanding warrant for his arrest when he elected to go on a round-the-clock stealing spree around the eastern Kansas City area with Nunley, a career criminal and a suspect in an unrelated homicide. The two, who specialized in automobile thefts, were riding in a blue 1984 Monte Carlo SS they had stolen between 1 and 3 a.m. on Wednesday, March 22, 1989, from outside a residence in Grandview, Missouri, a suburb just outside of Kansas City. The weather was mild for late March in Kansas City. The sky was clear, and there was a full moon. According to the Farmer's Almanac, we call a full moon in March a worm moon, but it also bears the dubious name of death moon, because it is the last full moon of winter. March 22, 1989's full moon was the death moon for the events about to transpire. The two thieves ripped off T-tops from vehicles in Raytown, Missouri, just east of the Kansas City border, as they smoked drug-laced cigarettes and drank wine. Then they moved on to the next city over, Lee's Summit, Missouri, to see what they could find to sell for cash and drugs at a local chop shop they liked to frequent. Those auto repair businesses were notorious for dismantling stolen cars and selling parts, having opportunities to